And that's why I have to talk with your husband, Mrs. Carr.
Well, he's home now.
Hi, darling.
Hi, sweetheart. We have a visitor.
Oh.
This is Jim Diedrichson.
Oh, yes, I've heard your name. Hello, Mr. Diedrichson.
Mr. Carr, I'm sorry to bother you at home, sir, but when I called your office, they said that you'd left for the day.
Well, if you called my office, I assume it's a matter for the district attorney.
I believe so. I wasn't sure. I was thinking about going to the police.
He thought that you might be more understanding of the problem, Mike, since you know many of the people involved.
Oh? Why don't you sit down and tell me about it?
Thank you, sir.
Would you like a drink?
Yes, some mineral water, please.
All right, Mr. Diedrichson. Just who are these people I know so well?
Well, one of them's Raven Whitney.
Oh, God, these men don't look like they're trustable. What am I gonna do?
Don't worry about it. I give you my word. See, the service we provide here is strictly confidential. We only ask 3 questions around here. Where you want to go, number 1. 2, when you want to leave. And 3, you got the money with you.
That is highway robbery.
Nobody's twisting your arm, sweetheart. You can always cancel your trip.
All right. I'll pay the money, but only when I get the papers and I'm ready to leave.
No. It don't work that way. This is strictly cash. In advance.
I don't have the $50,000
Wait a
with
minute. You're going overseas for good. You gotta have money to take with you to live on. And don't give me you got one of these phony letters of credit, because people who leave the States like you are never do have them.
All right, I'll pay you the cash, but it's gonna take a while.
Well, the sooner you get it, Mrs. Whitney, the sooner you're gonna be on that boat.
Sir, this is supposed to be nothing more than a practical joke, one of those great memoirs.
Well, very often a practical joke is just an excuse to be cruel.
And this one seems unusually cruel. To make Raven believe that she actually committed a murder?
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it seemed much more amusing at the time.
Are you the one who thought it up?
No. I can't take credit for being the author. But I have to share the responsibility.
I'm afraid you'll have to, especially since this was your drama group.
I don't see how you could let it go so far. All of you. And, Mike, I just don't know why Cliff allowed himself to get involved.
Mrs. Carr, please try to see it the way we saw it. As a harmless situation to prove a lesson to Raven Whitney.
But what gave you the right to do that?
We didn't have the right. But she spoiled everything. She took away our theater just because Gavin Wiley was in the group.
Okay, so your motive was revenge, then?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was. That's how I got Cliff involved in it.
Well, I know what Raven did to Cliff. She took away his most important client.
Yeah, but Calvin, what reason would he have? He wasn't a member of the acting group. Or was he?
No. No, it was personal with Calvin. I don't know the whole story, but we talked him into it because we showed him it was going to be harmless.
So what you hoped to prove to Raven was that she could be framed in the same way that Gavin was in the Gunther Wagner killing, correct?
Yes, that's what most of us assumed.
Meaning there was a hidden purpose. Smiley Wilson's purpose.
Yes, sir. And as soon as I realized what his purpose was, I knew I had to clean this thing up, and fast.
So you really think that Raven is in danger now?
Yes, I do. I don't want this phony murder to turn into a real one.
In that case, we had better find her.
travel.
What did I say?
How you been? You've been gone for 2 hours. Now, where's the snacks?
Again. All right?
Hey, she didn't come right back here. She stopped at a coffee shop to get a sandwich. Hell, she had 2 sandwiches and dessert. Boy, what an appetite that one's got.
I don't care about her appetite. What about her money?
That's what I called about. Before she left the hotel, she goes down to the desk and she leaves an envelope in the hotel safe.
This must be the big jackpot.
That's what I thought. But what the hell are we gonna do about it?
Get here as fast as you can. We may have to add a little pressure here.
So where it stands now, Raven thinks that she's still indicted for murder, and she thinks that she's jumped bail.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
If only we could reach her and let her know.
That's going to be difficult, because if a person thinks they're a fugitive, they'll act like one. She'll be careful about who she speaks to, or she probably won't even use her real name.
Yes, sir. That's the problem.
Smiley Wilson. Now, what about him?
Well, I've heard from him recently, and I don't think he knows where she is either. He didn't know he was talking to me, though.
Who do you think you were?
Hector, his brother. In fact, it's one of the first times Smiley's been fooled in this whole scam. Now, I take that back. Raven must have fooled him a number of times in order to get away.
Well, if she still thinks she's a fugitive, she still might try to get out of the country.
I'm more concerned about her health. With Smiley on her trail, she's carrying a lot of cash.
I'm afraid this can't stop here, Jim. I told you, I couldn't promise you either confidentiality or immunity.
Yes, sir. I know.
In fact, our next step is with the police.
No, I don't know from that. Yeah. Now, look, I can't talk to you now. You sure took your time getting here, Mrs. Whitney.
Well, I had to eat and rest. I'm a little exhausted.
Oh, I understand,
Honey, but just imagine tomorrow you'll be relaxing in a deck chair, drinking pina coladas and watching the waves.
All right, there's your money, $50,000.
I'm sorry, honey, but it's not enough.
What?
Well, you took so long getting here, the price went up again.
You are crazy. First you said $25,000, then you said $50,000. Now that's not enough?
I'm going to give you the final price, Mrs. Whitney. What we want is the envelope that you put in your hotel safe.
Forget it. I decided I don't want to do business with you.
I don't see where you have a hell of a lot of choice.
Oh, yeah? Well, we'll just see about that.
What's your hurry, lady?
See, we'll go to the hotel together. You can pick up the envelope. And by tomorrow morning, you'll be on the boat. You'll be on your way to Palm Tree Land and sunny skies.
And no cops.
No.
Now, you're not getting my drift, Mrs. Whitney. There's no such thing as no. You gotta do it. Because if you don't, you'll be floating to South America. But I guarantee you, you're not going to be in a boat.
Is that a threat?
No, it's not a threat. It's a promise. So you're at a distinct disadvantage here, Mrs. Whitney. You've already disappeared. Am I right?
No, that's not true. There are some people that were with me, and they're back in the hotel room, and they're going to be very worried about me.
I just came from your hotel, lady. You just had a single. I listened outside the door. There's nobody else there.
Now listen, you. Listen to me, you. Nobody is going to miss you. You're in the Big Apple. And if you come up floating somewhere, nobody's even going to know who the hell you are. And with your money, I don't think you want that. Does she, Al?
Do you know anything about Raven disappearing?
No, I don't.
I wonder what she could have gotten herself into now.
Now look, honey, we're still going to get you out of the country. Don't worry about it. It's just going to cost you a little more than what you thought.
But I gotta have some money. I don't want to go to South America and pick coffee beans.
Hey, we won't take it all, Mrs. Whitney, right, Wolfie?
Ah, of course not.
Hey, do we look like greedy people to you?
Tell you what if I give you more money? Not just $50,000, I'll give you $100,000, or almost $100,000. I spent a little bit of it.
You got it with you?
Now, I think we'll take our chances with the envelope, honey.
Hey, that wasn't nice. Leaving without saying goodbye? Was it?
I can see you can't make up your mind, sweetheart. Well, we're going to give you a little time here to think about it.
You've
got, 10 seconds.
The only real problem on my mind at the moment is trying to locate Raven.
Time's up, sweetheart.
What are you going to do to me?
I don't know. What are we going to do to her, Al?
Kill her, Wolfie. I don't think she believes us, Al.
Well, then we'll just have to show her, huh?
All right. I'll go with you to the hotel room.
Now, you've been very sensible. We'll bring the car around front. And you come over here, and you just relax. So worried, sweetheart. Everything's gonna be all right. What the hell is Al? He should have been back a long time ago.
Do you have a ladies' room here?
You mean ahead? If that's what you mean, yeah, it's in there. Only thing, there's no back door, and there's no windows, if that's what you're thinking of. Where the hell is her passport?
Where's the babe?
In the back.
What are you doing?
You know, the boys really did a good job on these papers.
I thought you said you were still gonna get her on a boat.
Yeah, well, she wouldn't enjoy it, Al. She'll be too unhappy thinking about all the money she left behind. And we don't want any dissatisfied customers now, do we? Mrs. Whitney won't need any papers, the kind of trip that she's going on.
What are you doing?
Does it look like I'm doing? We just can't throw Mrs. Whitney's papers in the trash.
I thought you said you were still gonna get her on that boat.
She wouldn't like it, Al. She'd be too unhappy thinking about all the money she left behind. And we don't want any dissatisfied customers now, do we? No, Mrs. Whitney doesn't need any papers where she's going.
What are you burning?
Hey, don't you worry about it. I like to play with fire every now and again, right, Al?
Well, it stinks in here.
You worry too much, Mrs. Whitney. You're not going to have to worry about any foul smells on the boat to South America. Al, I think it's time you escort this lovely lady down to the car. I'll be with you in a minute. I'll bring this later.
I've got to think this out. What should I do next? Where do I go? Damn! This whole thing is full of dead ends. But I've got to find a way to expose Jeff for the fake that he was. I wonder if it could have been possible that Valerie really could have been seeing Jeff behind my back in St. Moritz. Dames. It seems as if I've got some rotten luck with women. I wonder if I'm going to spend the rest of my life wondering whether they're lying to me or not. Raven Whitney. It's strange. I just can't stop thinking about that portrait of her.
Taxi! Let's go, lady. You got a real cute little girl here, Al.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, mine's racing real fast, almost as fast as a racehorse, but not quite fast enough, huh, sweetheart?
What happened?
A little trick that didn't quite come off.
All right. So you've got what you want. Let's go.
Get it.
Oh.
Let's get moving, Al. Now, Stop off at the pier so Mrs. Whitney can see her nice accommodations and the ship that's going to take her to South America. Come on, let's move.
Shall I make more coffee, or will this be sufficient?
I'd appreciate it if you would make more. I'm expecting a guest this morning, and he may be in need.
Of course.
Spenser.
Yes, Mrs. Saxon.
There is one piece of bad news that does seem to stay with me. And that's about Raven.
Yes, ma'am.
When Raven was ill, why didn't you try to reach me in Washington? Did you try?
No, ma'am, I'm afraid we didn't.
Well, I suppose it's my fault for not leaving a number where I could be reached.
I'm very sorry that it happened that way, Mrs. Saxon.
I'm terribly distressed by this whole thing. There she is, going off to a foreign sanitarium without telling a single soul where she is.
I think she wanted it that way.
There's another thing that worries me, too.
What's that, ma'am?
I'm awfully afraid that Raven might have fallen into the hands of some incompetent doctor or someone who might try to take advantage of the situation. She's not exactly a charity case, you know. She's an extremely wealthy young woman. And there are some people in this world who would do anything for money.
Wolfie! Hey, open up, Wolfie. It's me, Al. Hey, Wolfie! What are you doing, sleeping in there? Come on, Wolfie!
Knock off all that racket, will you?
Hey, it's not in the paper. Guess they didn't find the body yet.
Oh, I decided to keep this cargo for a while.
What the hell is this? How come she's sleeping it off here and not at the
Shut the hell up!
All right. I'll rephrase the question. Why ain't she fish food?
Because I took her to the spot last night, and just about as I was going to dump her into the drink with a big splash, something told me to take a look into this money pouch.
So?
So I took a look.
Something tells me I'm not gonna like this.
Yeah, you know what I come up with? Nothing. There's nothing in there except a bunch of old torn newspaper.
I knew I wasn't gonna like it. Newspaper?
Right. She deliberately put a dummy envelope into the hotel safe to make it look good and throw off any would-be thief.
Now what?
I don't know, but that damn money is somewhere.
Where?
I don't know where, but she knows where. When she wakes up, she's going to tell us when she's out of this chloroform sleep. Come on, you, wake up! Wake up!
What are you doing here?
Don't look so surprised. It's Spenser. Mrs. Saxon invited me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Won't you sit down?
Yes, thank you.
That will be all, Spenser.
Yes, ma'am.
Coffee.
Yes, black, please. Thank you.
So, here we are.
Here we are. Are you finding it difficult to begin?
A little. I told you, I think, that I have been intrigued by your story.
Yes.
Mind you, that doesn't mean I'm convinced of it. But it does mean that I am willing to help you find the proof that will convince me and others.
That's a very kind offer. And the most promising one I've had since I've been back here in town. I don't mind telling you that trying to convince people I am who I say I am is a rather discouraging business. You won't regret it.
I have to admit that I'm very much interested in getting to the bottom of this whole thing. Either way. Now, what do you want of me?
Everything that you can remember about the man who called himself Schuyler Whitney. And called her his wife.
Oh, dear. Where to begin? Well, he came back here to Monticello about 1.5 years ago. I had sold this house several years before and was living in a residential hotel suite at the Monticello Arms. Naturally, I was very much surprised to see Schuyler. That is, to see him after all those years he spent in Europe. In any case, he threw himself into the cultural and business life of Monticello. He opened and closed a professional dance company, for one thing, and immersed himself in all kinds of corporate businesses throughout this whole country. He pursued and was pursued by Raven. They were married 1 year ago, and he bought this house as a wedding present. Both he and Raven were very insistent that I come back here to the family home and live with them. Seemed sensible at the time.
Oh, yes. Everything that he did seemed sensible and reasonable. And it all fell into place so easily for him. He surrounded him with things that would make him seem genuine. He bought this house. You see, living in the Whitney estate would mean that he was a Whitney. He invited you to live here with him. One family under one roof.
If that's true, young man, he was diabolically clever.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, indeed, that he was. He even hired my own servant.
Gunther was your servant?
Yes, he worked for me in Europe for several years. He was my butler, my chauffeur, my general factotum.
And he must have been an accomplice in the charade.
It's possible, I suppose. No. Gunther must have known all about it. No one in the world knew me the way Gunther did. Perhaps that's the way that Jeff found out as much as he did about my family history.
Why wasn't Gunther with you when that plane crashed in Switzerland?
Gunther was vacationing in Paris when we were in St. Moritz. And Jeff appropriated him the way that he did everything else in my life. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yes. But not impossible.
It's so bizarre to be so alienated, so cut off from everything and everyone that I knew. And to have no one know who I am.
I'm trying to. Schuyler.
Excuse me, officer. I'm looking for Spring Street. Could you direct me?
Spring Street? Certainly, ma'am. Go out this way, and when you get outside, take a right, go to the corner, take a left, and go down 3 blocks, and you can't miss it.
Oh, okay. I don't know what we'd do without New York's finest. Thank you, officer.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm happy to be of service, ma'am. New York's finest. I love it.
She is still breathing, isn't she?
Yeah, right.
How much chloroform did you give her?
Just enough. She'll be up. Come on, you wake up. Come on. Come on.
Where am I?
You're at the travel agency. Everything's okay, sweetheart.
Oh.
But you got to remember something. And I want you to start remembering real fast. Like, what the hell is all this?
Oh, there's this, motorcycle guy following me.
A motorcycle guy?
And he was after my money, and so I put the empty bag in the safe.
Yeah, I can see that. Where's the real stuff? Hey, you. You're gonna be asleep a long time if you don't start talking.
What can I do about it? I can't put an APB out on her. If you send the police after her, that might convince her that she really is a fugitive.
We gotta do something. We got to find Smiley Wilson before he finds her. Right now, these kids are only guilty of dangerous mischief. I would hate to see them named as accessories to murder.
Look, sweetheart, nobody's gonna hurt you. Trust me, nobody's even gonna lay a finger on you. Ain't that right, Al?
Absolutely.
Come on, you guys drugged me. If you had the money now, I would be dead.
Hey, that's one of the most ridiculous statements I've ever heard. You can bet a lot of money you're never going to find me involved in that kind of scam, right, Al?
Right.
You liar! The only reason I'm alive now is because the bag was empty. If you had the money, I'd be dead.
See, this is a dame's logic, see? I told you she's smart, Al, right?
Yeah, you said.
Look, Al, why don't you go outside and keep your eyes open? I don't want anything to interfere with this conversation, if you get my drift.
I got you.
Time is running out for me, and it's running out for you. Now, I'm tired of being a nice guy, and we can either do this one of two ways. The nice way, or the hard way.
Wolfie. It's a cop. Just get up.
Shut up. Shut up and stay there. Open up. It's the police. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. All right. Put the car on. Ah!
You shot a cop. What the hell are you laughing about? You killed a cop.
Shut up.
That means the gas chamber.
Stop it!
What?
I said drop that gun or I'll kill you. With pleasure.
Now, take it easy, baby. Just take it easy.
Wolfie, he's alive. It's only a fake. A fake.
What's he saying?
You shouldn't have shot me. The gun. It's not real. Did you hear what I heard?
Yeah, I heard what you heard.
You're alive. You're the same cop from Monticello.
It's true, we invented the story about the nervous breakdown.
But it was with Mrs. Whitney's consent. She told us what to say to Detective Tyler.
This is absolutely incredible.
Then neither one of you deny cooperating in this hoax against Mrs. Whitney.
No, sir, we don't deny it.
Why, Spencer? Why? Why would you do such a thing? You've never been disloyal to Mrs. Whitney.
It was all a joke. That's all. We did it for fun.
Pretty strange idea. Fun.
We know now we were wrong, Mrs. Carr. But we can't deny our involvement.
I hope you both know that you're going to lose your jobs over this.
But we weren't the only ones.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that too much, Miss Fulton. Everyone involved will get the punishment he deserves.
Here, just drink this here. There you go. Careful. You were fantastic.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? A great performance. Maybe my last.
No. You're gonna be all right. I'm gonna call an ambulance right now, okay?
Wait. There's something I have to tell you.
What? What?
You didn't kill her.
What?
Jinx Avery. You didn't kill her. It was all a joke.
Why you got involved in this damn charade. Now, what was it?
We just went along with the gag, that's all.
How very amusing.
We know why the people in the drama group started this hoax. They were angry because Raven had taken the theater from them.
It doesn't justify what they did. However, it does explain why they started it.
I don't understand your explanation at all.
Surely you have something to say, Spencer?
No, Mrs. Saxon, nothing at all. If there's any punishment for what I've done, I'll have to accept it.
Nobody's talking about punishment yet. All we're concerned about right now is Raven's safety.
Yes, if either one of you knows anything that will help, please tell us.
It's my impression that Mrs. Whitney is in New York.
Well, all right, now we're getting somewhere. Why?
I suggest you ask Nora.
This isn't fair. He knows as much as I do.
Would you please just tell us what you know?
Mrs. Whitney is trying to leave the country.
Oh, Lord. That's what I was afraid of.
She may have gotten out already. I really don't know.
Because she thinks she has to leave. Or face trial and possibly prison?
Yes.
Why didn't you stop her? Why did you let her go on thinking those awful things? Was it because you took pleasure in tormenting her? What kind of woman are you?
Do you know Smiley Wilson?
Yes. He's the one who told me to convince her to leave the country and jump bail.
And why did you listen to him?
Oh, for the money, of course. Isn't that right, Nora? Didn't he promise to share the money with you once he got it from her?
I don't care about money. I just want to see that woman suffer.
Why? What did she ever do to you?
It was her husband. He's the one who killed the only man that I ever loved. He killed Gunther Wagner. So why should I care about Mrs. Raven Whitney?
Please, I have to get on that flight that's leaving from Monticello.
But by the time I write the ticket, the plane will have already been boarded.
I don't care. I'll run out the runway. I'll grab the wings of the plane. Please just get me on that plane. Here, I have some money.
I'll write you a ticket, but I can't guarantee you'll make the plane.
Nora, this is monstrous. If you hated Raven so much, why did you take this job in the first place?
Maybe that was the reason, Geraldine, to be in a position to hurt Raven.
It was because her husband killed my lover in cold blood.
And then he tried to blame this all on Gavin Wiley, and presumably that's how this all got started?
Does any of this matter anyway? Mr. Carr said that the only important thing was to find Mrs. Whitney.
That is true, and I don't see that this is helping any.
Yes, well, I think you both know a lot more than you're telling.
I told you everything I know, I swear. I didn't even know anything about the scam until I followed that guy, Johnny Gentry, to the police station.
But once you knew what was happening, you jumped in with both feet, didn't you?
I wanted to hurt her. The way she hurt me. Don't you understand? I love Gunther. It was her husband who killed him.
Her husband, Nora, not her.
I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse me now.
Spenser,
did you know I'll get that. Whitney residence.
Nora, Mrs. Whitney, shut up and just listen. My plane is leaving. I can't talk very long.
But what's happening?
What did happen? You won't believe it. Anyway, I'm coming home.
You're what?
You're not going to believe this. I did not kill Jinx Avery.
But how can that be?
I didn't kill Jinx Avery. It's fantastic. Anyway, I'm going to be in Monticello in a couple of hours, so I want you and Spenser to meet me at the airport, okay?
But
I can't talk anymore, Nora. Just meet me there, okay? Bye-bye. It was a joke, huh? Sick joke. Why? I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to get back at every single one of those people involved.
This is the final call for Transnational Flight 51 from Monticello to Chicago. Final call, Flight 51.
There you are, ma'am. And good luck.
Thank you.
Saxon, you can be sure we'll get back to you as soon as we know anything about Raven.
I appreciate that very much, and if there's anything I should be doing...
Well, if you should hear from Raven, please call us.
Oh, yes, the house, the office, anywhere.
Nancy, this story isn't going to be used in the Monticello News, is it?
No, Geraldine, not a word, not until Raven comes back, and maybe not even then.
And let's hope that Smiley Wilson doesn't make this a news item.
Geraldine, are you going to be all right?
Don't worry about me, my dear. Of course.
Goodbye, Geraldine.
What you did was contemptible.
Mrs. Saxon?
Never mind. Unfortunately, it is not my place to discharge you myself. You're not employed by me. You're employed by Mrs. Whitney. And I'm sure that you will be very interested in finding out exactly what her money has bought.
Mrs. Saxon, I was about to say that I think Nora and I should resign.
Do you think I want to stay in this place 1 minute longer than
My only concern is that you be left alone. Although I'm sure you could move back into a hotel if you wish.
Please don't concern yourself with my comfort, Spenser. I'd rather fend for myself than have you two in this house.
I knew I packed and left before they ever got here.
Why don't you pack right now, Nora?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to clean up these dishes.
Still the perfect servant, aren't you? Except for one thing. As Mrs. Saxon said, you're not very loyal now, are you, Spenser? Whitney residence? Yeah, I heard from her just now. From the airport in New York. She's on a plane. She's coming home.
Spenser, I thought you'd be packing by now.
I was waiting for you to come downstairs, Mrs. Saxon. I'd like to speak with you, if I may.
Very well. That is, if you can find a logical explanation for your appalling behavior.
I'm not sure that it will explain anything. But since I'm leaving the house, I thought you might like to know why I was here in the first place.
Why were you here?
I came here for a very particular reason, Mrs. Saxon.
To do what?
Well, I certainly never intended to do Mrs. Whitney any harm. I knew nothing about her.
You knew Gunther Wagner, didn't you?
Yes, I knew Gunther. And Nora did. The three of us were employed in the same household.
I know that. Therefore, it's very clear to me that this whole thing was a conspiracy.
I also knew that Gunther had been employed by your nephew, Schuyler, in Europe.
And when Gunther died here in Monticello, that left a vacancy.
That's not the reason that I applied for the job, Mrs. Saxon. It was because of someone else I met. Someone in a small hospital in Switzerland who had a striking resemblance to this man.
You're talking about the man who claims to be my nephew.
I was first introduced to him by an Englishwoman I knew in Switzerland, Libby Webster. She had seen to his care for a long time. When he was finally able to speak, she learned his story. What he claimed seemed very unlikely, but there was something about him that convinced me he was telling the truth.
Then you and that man were in league all the time.
I took the job at the Whitneys in order to get at the truth. Unfortunately, I wasn't successful. The man who claimed to be Schuyler Whitney was a very clever person.
Really, this is unbelievable. All that time?
Yes, it's been a very long time, Mrs. Saxon, a very frustrating time. And up to this moment, I'm still no closer to proving that the man who lived in this house was an imposter and that this woman is not Mrs. Schuyler Whitney.
Spenser, I've had so many shocks today, I'm not sure I can bear another one like this.
I'm very sorry, Mrs. Saxon, but I felt that before I left, you should know the whole story.
You are telling me that you took a job in this house to prove that my nephew was an imposter.
I was already convinced he was. All I was after was the proof.
But you failed.
The man never revealed himself. He fooled everyone, including you.
Including his wife?
I don't think he did, Mrs. Saxon.
Do you think that Raven knew he was living a lie?
I believe she was.
And now she's living another lie, thanks to you and all those others. She thinks that she is a wanted criminal.
Mrs. Whitney?
Yes?
Lieutenant Sam Finch, Monticello Police?
Golf is familiar.
I ought to, Mrs. Whitney. I've been following you since you jumped bail. Hope you had a nice trip, but this is the end of the line. You're under arrest.
Oh, wait a minute. You can't do this.
Just did, ma'am.
No, you don't understand. I did not kill anyone.
Right, ma'am. Mm-hmm. You're innocent.
It's true, I am, you jerk. A policeman came up and told me I did not kill Jinx Avery.
All right, whatever you say, ma'am.
It was a mistake. I don't know where you've been, but it was a mistake, or I should say a sick, terrible, disgusting joke.
Nancy, how sweet of you to call. But don't give me another thought. I'm fine, really.
Will you be there alone tonight?
No, I won't, truly.
All right. If you need us, don't hesitate to call.
I won't. But I think what I really want right now is to have Raven home safely.
Yes. I'll check in on you tomorrow.
Thank you, my dear. Goodbye.
Raven.
I almost never use this expression, but where the hell are you?
I'm gonna have your badge for this, believe me. Why are you bringing me here?
I want to show you something, Mrs. Whitney. You see for yourself. Watch your step. Take a look.
Oh, God.
Joke, Mrs. Whitney. This is some kind of joke.
Jinx Avery Mallory?
Didn't you know? They were married.
So she is dead.
Let's go.
I killed her.
Mrs. Whitney?
I'm back. I'm back in jail.
Excuse me, Chief. I thought you wanted to see these.
What's that?
The pictures from that station house where, you know...
Yeah, that place where your crazy friends locked Raven behind bars?
Well, I told you, they told me they let her out. But anyway, there they are.
Yeah, they really brought this old place back to life.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see it. You know, I was a rookie for a year in that place.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was never so glad to see anything shut down in my life. Nothing ever worked there. The plumbing, the electricity, I mean, nothing.
How'd they get this all done? How'd they pay for it?
Well, I got $10,000 from Sid Brennan. She runs, you know, Sid's Tavern, but she thought she was contributing to a theatrical production.
I see.
And Smiley managed to get a little more when he convinced Raven that she could pay her bail, $100,000.
What happened to that money?
He dropped it, every dime, on the horses. Can you imagine that?
And now he's after her $20 million. That'll certainly buy a lot of $2 tickets. Wait a second. I thought
Oh, what is it?
Yeah, a memo I got this morning. That piece of property, it's been bought up by a developer. It's going to become apartment housing.
Great. I, for one, never want to see it again. Now, for two good reasons.
You won't be able to see it 24 hours from now.
Why, what's happening?
It's scheduled for demolition. They're going to tear it down first thing in the morning.
Guard! Guard! Maybe they are just gonna leave me here to rot. Maybe that's what happens when you jump bail. Oh, God.
Mr. Thorne?
Buenos dias. Doc told me you were a cop.
That's right. I'm Detective Damian Tyler from the Monticello Police Force.
Well, Detective Damian Tyler, I'm sick of cops.
Well, having seen your police record, I'm not surprised that you feel that way.
Well, I always thought you'd be the last guy in the world I talked to, but I guess it's just not working out that way, is it?
Mr. Thorne, why don't you do yourself and me a favor and tell me the truth? What happened to you?
I told you what happened to me. A pig like you shot me for no reason.
Look, that guy was not a cop. He probably had a reason for shooting you. It had something to do with Raven Whitney, didn't it? Now, where is she? Look, I want you to tell me where she is before it's too late.
It's already too late.
Look, the doc tells me that you may pull through this. Now, if you give me a little bit of information, I may be able to make it easier for you in court.
And if I don't make it to court, you're gonna get me into heaven?
Look, the doctor said I have 5 minutes with you.
Yeah. How long do I have?
I want you to tell me where Raven Whitney is. Now, tell me.
She must be real important to you. You must be her boyfriend or something, right? I'm gonna tell you something, sport. Raven Whitney sleeps with the fishes at the bottom of the Hudson River. Now leave me alone.
You know, I almost hate to see the old precinct house come down.
Why?
Sentimental reasons. I spent a night there once, drunk and disorderly. Well, we better check for bums and stray animals before we start.
It's already been double-checked. So, we can even start ahead of schedule.
All right.
Why doesn't somebody come help me?
Spencer, what do you want? Oh, no, don't tell me. It's about Raven Whitney and the scam. Well, listen, I don't want to hear any more about it. I'm traveling to Europe tomorrow morning.
Chief Mallory warned us all about leaving town.
I'm not leaving town, pal. I'm leaving the country.
Mr. Gentry, I could stop you with a phone call.
You wouldn't do that. Would you?
No, I won't. If you'll do something for me.
Mallory.
Chief, it's Damien Tyler. Look, I've got some word on Raven Whitney. I was able to talk to Wolfie Thorne.
And?
Well, apparently it's true that Raven did talk to Mr. Thorne about booking passage out of the country. But apparently she couldn't meet his price. And he had already made the arrangements. When he demanded the money, she hollered for the cops, so he says.
Do you believe him?
No, I'm sure he tried to coerce more money out of her as soon as he figured he had her in his pocket.
He'll tell you where she is now.
Well, I hope to God this isn't true, Chief, but he claims that his partner, Al, threw Raven off a pier into the Hudson River.
Oh, my God. Do you think he's telling the truth?
No, I think it's a malicious lie. I have a feeling he might change his tune when I tell him he's going to be charged with accomplice to murder. Chief, hold on just a second, please.
Doc, how's Mr. Thorne? He's dead.
Hello? Oh, hi, Derek. Still at your office?
Yes, I am. There's a lot going on, and none of it's good.
What have you got?
I got some bad news about Raven. I just talked to Damien Tyler in New York. Wolfie Thorne has just died.
Before he died, he said that his partner dumped Raven's body in the Hudson River. Now, Tyler says he doesn't really believe it. I don't know what to believe.
That really is bad news, Derek. Is Damien going to stay in New York to confirm it? Either way?
Yes, he is. Now, if something really has happened to Raven as a result of this, what action would you take?
I don't see how I can avoid prosecuting the people involved in the plot against Raven. All of them.
killed. See, you wouldn't believe what they've been putting me through. They put me in this prison. They didn't give me anything, no food, no water.
I can get you something, Mrs. Whitney.
What have they been trying to do to me anyway? It's been like solitary confinement. I haven't seen a soul since they put me in here last night.
I'm very sorry about that,
Well,
Mrs.
what are they doing down there anyway? What, did they all die?
They're all very busy at the moment, which perhaps is a good thing, Mrs. Whitney, because I have something very important to talk to you about.
What?
Mrs. Whitney, I have a way of getting you out of this place.
You do? How?
I have a way, Mrs. Whitney. But like everything else in life, it has a price. This price is the truth.
Spenser, you don't understand. They'll take away everything. They'll take away my house, my name. They'll take away my money. All right. All right, it's the truth. But I didn't know it until after we were married and we moved back to the house. And I found some papers and a picture.
But eventually he admitted the truth to you.
Yes, he admitted it. He told me about the crash. And when he saw Schuyler Whitney dead, he thought it would be a shame to let all that money go to waste.
Yes, what a shame.
And so he went to the clinic at Lucerne, Dr. Bryson's clinic, under the name Jim Diedrichson.
Diedrichson?
He spent 3 months there because that was how long it took to make him look like the real Sky Whitney. But he didn't hurt anybody. Sky Whitney was dead, so he didn't even need that money. And I'm not going to admit to it. I won't do it. I would rather take my chances in the courtroom.
It's too late, Mrs. Whitney.
What do you mean it's too late?
I've recorded every word.
Spenser, I hate you!
I'm sorry you feel that way, Mrs. Whitney, but we did strike a bargain. I'm going to see your lawyer right now, and I'm sure he'll arrange for your immediate release. Goodbye.
Okay, Diedrichson. What are you gonna do with this studio? The half that's yours anyway.
Hello, Jim.
Oh, hello. What are you doing here?
I came by to give you the opportunity to put the finishing touches on our little scam.
What? Are you kidding me? I washed my hands of that thing a long time ago.
Oh, no. Your hands won't be clean until Raven Whitney is safe.
What are you getting at, Spenser?
Jim, I know how you feel about Smiley, how he changed our little joke into grand larceny.
I don't remember you making any objections.
We're not talking about me. We're talking about Raven Whitney. I know where she is.
What?
Smiley has her right back where she began, in the cell in the old abandoned precinct house. As a matter of fact, she's there right now waiting for her lawyer to come get her out.
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
I gotta call the cops.
No, don't call the police. There's no telling what Smiley might do to Mrs. Whitney. But I'm sure he'll have no problem if her lawyer, Bennett Matthews, shows up.
How you doing, Mrs. Whitney?
Lieutenant, look. A signed confession from Lance Halliday.
Is that what,
I said
you
a
going on
signed
about?
confession from Lance Halliday. He says that I did not kill Jinx Avery. My lawyer's on his way over here, and he's going to let me out.
You do go on, don't you? Let me take a look at this, see what you talk. Well, that's dirty. Who told him to do this?
What?
This is no good. It's absolutely no good. I'm surprised at you, a grown woman, not recognizing that this...
What are you? You're destroying my evidence!
You at all. I'm going to destroy a lot more than that piece of paper if you don't start telling the truth.
I am telling the truth.
I don't mean about the paper, about her. I mean about the bonds. I want to know where the bonds are. Bonds. Now, this the end of the joke, you see. It's the punchline, huh? I'm looking for the $20 million punchline. So,
You were the fire.
that's right. I'm here to save you, you see, because this whole building is going to be demolished. You hear them up there? They're going to demolish this place in half an hour, and I'm sure you want to be...
You were the motorcycle man.
That's I was Sheriff Floyd C. Beauregard. I was the kindly Mrs. Peabody. Well, Mrs. Russell, why is my meter running outside? You see, we're going to have to get out of here before the whole place goes boom. You see, we haven't got much time. So just tell me where the bonds are.
So it was a joke.
Yeah.
A sick joke.
That's right.
Well, look who's decided to return.
Where have you been?
I've been at the end of the road.
What does that mean?
I have some good news for you, Schuyler. In fact, it's good news for all of us, Libby. Raven Whitney has confessed. About herself, about Jefferson Brown, about everything.
My God, Spencer, you're kidding.
I have it all on this. You can listen to part of it.
All right. All right, it's the truth. But I didn't know it until after we were married and we moved into the Whitney mansion, and then I found some papers and a picture.
But eventually, he admitted the truth to you.
Yes, he admitted everything. He told me about the plane crash. And when he saw that Schuyler Whitney was dead, he figured he didn't want to just let the money go to waste.
Yes, what a shame.
Yes. So he went to the clinic in Lucerne, Dr. Bryson's clinic, and he used the name Jim Diedrichson.
Diedrichson?
Yes. And he was there 3 months. That's how long it took to make him look exactly like Schuyler Whitney. But he didn't hurt anybody, Spencer. Schuyler Whitney was dead. He didn't need all that money.
My God, Spencer, how did you do it? How?
It wasn't easy.
Save all of us, you see. If you just tell me where the... I don't believe it. I'm stupid. The coat. The bonds are in the coat. They're in a mink vault. Am I stupid? I just don't believe it. They were right under my eyes all that time. Do you believe that? I just can't believe it. Don't scream because nobody's going to hear you. It's just you and me. Smiley, what are you doing? Get out of here. I got a real gun and with real bolts this time, old Jimbo. So why don't you just back on, huh?
Smiley, what do you want?
I want the coat. No. I want the coat. Okay, I worked too long for that coat. I want... Go! Hey, Jimmy, let me out of here. Jimmy, come on, it's Smiley. You know me, I'm just kidding around. You know that. I'm just playing one of my parts. Let me out of here. Come on, be a pal, will you? But... The building. Hey, let me out of here. Let me out of here. Let me out. Let me out of here!
I believe the events of the evening call for a drink. Don't you agree? To a lovely adversary. I'm almost sorry it's over.
What in heaven's name is going on? I thought I heard voices down here.
It's only me, Mrs. Saxon. I was simply musing out loud.
Well, That could be a sign that you're in trouble, Spenser. And so is that drink in your hand. I don't remember that you ever helped yourself to a drink in this house before.
I hope you'll forgive the impropriety.
Does it matter?
Well, as you say, Mrs. Saxon, this is the first time I've ever helped myself to the cordiality of the house. And as I'm leaving in the morning, it will be the last time.
All right, I'll accept that.
Mrs. Saxon, wait, please.
Yes?
Would you join me in a nightcap?
Did I hear you correctly? Are you inviting me to have a drink with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Spenser, I am not given to snobbery, as you well know. But I cannot think of a single reason on this earth why I should have a drink with you.
I think you'll agree that you have something to celebrate this evening, Mrs. Saxon. Other than my leaving, that is.
What in heaven's name do you mean by that?
Well, I have good news for you, Mrs. Saxon. Mrs. Whitney is safe and sound.
What did you say? Well, where is she, Spenser? For heaven's sake, man, where is she?
She's in Monticello.
Oh, thank God. Well, how did you know about this?
Oh, I couldn't possibly go into the whole story for you right now, but I'm sure you'll be hearing it very soon. But please believe me when I say that she is safe and in good hands. I believe your preference is sherry.
Okay. We're here now. You can just settle down right over here.
Freezing.
Here, we'll put this up here. There, you'll warm up in a minute.
Oh, can I have a drink?
Yeah. Glasses are kind of at a premium. Grab a cup.
Thank you. I can't stop shaking.
Well, you've been through quite a bit. You're in shock. You gotta just relax now. Take it easy.
Why'd you bring me here?
I had to talk to you. And I had to take care of this.
God, did the bullet hit you?
Yeah, it's just a flesh wound.
What, should we call a doctor?
No, it's okay for now.
We're in Gavin Wiley's studio.
No. This is my studio. At least half of it.
But you're a lawyer. I mean, don't you have an office or something?
I'm not a lawyer. I went to law school, but I never took the bar exam.
What?
I'm no more a lawyer than you are a murderer.
I'm not a murderer. I had a confession signed by Lance Halliday that said that I accidentally shot and killed Jinx Avery.
Mrs. Whitney, Raven, you didn't kill Jinx Avery at all.
Jinx Avery is dead. I saw her grave with my own 2 eyes.
Yes, she is dead. But you didn't kill her. How am I going to tell you this whole story?
Am I crazy? Are you crazy? Will someone please tell me what's going on?
No, Raven, just be patient. This is a long, complicated story. I'll just start at the beginning.
Please do.
This is my studio. I am Jim Diedrichson.
You're Jim Diedrichson.
There were 7 of us. There was Cliff Nelson. There was Mitzi. There was Jinx Avery. There was Johnny Gentry.
You told me his name was Lance Halliday.
Both of those names are phony. Everything that's happened to you has been phony.
I'm so confused.
It all started out as a practical joke. It didn't get sinister and mean until the Wilson brothers showed up.
Who are the Wilson brothers?
You'll find out about them as I tell you this story.
So you're telling me that everything was a joke? You're telling me that everything was a joke? The murder was a joke?
No. That was our main event. We had to prove to you that Gavin Wiley was innocent. He was framed for the murder of Gunther Wagner, and the way we did it was to frame you.
So Gavin Wiley started all this, huh?
No, Gavin didn't have anything to do with it. If you recall, Gavin was the reason you threw us out of the Whitney Theater. We tried to prove his innocence to you, hoping that you'd change your mind. So we set you up. Those bullets in the gun were blank. You did not kill Jinx Avery. She died of natural causes.
I remember seeing on a gravestone it said Jinx Avery Mallory.
She died a couple of weeks after she married Derek.
All right, then. But I was arrested. I went to jail. I went to court.
That's where Smiley showed up. He was the mastermind of this whole thing.
Yeah, just exactly who is this Smiley Wilson anyway?
He's the guy we just left in the jail cell. He's the guy that's been after you all this time.
He told me he was lieutenant.
Well, he was also the judge.
You're kidding. He was the judge at my trial?
Smiley's a brilliant actor and a brilliant mimic. He could have had a wonderful career if he was just willing to work at it.
So he was all those people that were following me.
What people?
There was a taxi cab driver that took me to Springfield. There was a sheriff, Floyd Beauregard. He was after my money. There was even a woman, Mrs. Peabody. And then he was a fireman. He pretended there was a big fire so that I would open the door and he could get in and get my money. The man was insane. And he would have killed me to get my money. Thank God you came when you did. And thank God this is all over. Oh, man, I am so shocked at this whole story, and I am so angry. It's going to take me a long time to get over this because I feel like someone just ran over me with a truck.
This has been really rough for you. This has been really rough for all of us. Raven, I'm so glad you're here. I'm really relieved. We were all real worried. All of us. We had no idea how far this was going to go and what was involved, I swear to you. And I'm speaking for everybody involved. We're sorry. And we're deeply ashamed.
I'm very grateful to you for what you did for me tonight.
Then do me a favor.
What?
Don't prosecute all those people. They had no idea what was going on. If there's anybody to blame, it's Smiley and me. It was my drama studio. I should have been able to cut it off before this whole thing went so far.
I'm gonna have to think about that. Right now, I think, I need to go home and go to bed. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna use your phone and call Geraldine.
That's a good idea. She's really worried about you.
Whitney residence?
Yes, it's Mrs. Whitney. Is Geraldine there?
One moment, Mrs. Whitney.
Raven, where are you? I've been half crazy with worry.
Don't worry, I'm okay. I didn't murder anybody, and it's going to be okay.
Just listen to me, will you? Raven, will you be quiet and listen to what I have to... Oh, Raven. Just shut up and come home.